All right, let's talk about something that drives every DIY mechanic crazy. You've done the work. You figured out it was the mass airflow sensor, you bought a new one, you put it in, and that check engine light is just still there, staring at you. It's incredibly frustrating. And you're right to ask why. It feels like you've just wasted your time and your money. But hold on, don't give up just yet. Just because the light is on, it doesn't mean you did the wrong repair. There's a logical process to this, and we're going to walk through it step by step to figure out what's really going on.
So first things first, before we go diving deep into the wiring or looking for some really complicated problem, we have to start with the basics. You'd be surprised how often the fix is something simple that just got overlooked. Let's cover our bases.
Okay, here's a big one a lot of people miss. Your car's computer doesn't just magically know you fixed the problem. You have to tell it. The best, most reliable way is to plug in an OBD2 scan tool and use it to clear the codes. If you don't have one, no big deal. You can do what's called a hard reset. Just disconnect the negative battery terminal, let it sit for about 20 minutes, and then reconnect it. That forces the whole computer to reboot.
Next up, let's talk about the new part you just installed. You know, sometimes going with that super cheap, off-brand sensor online isn't the best move. They can be totally incompatible or even dead on arrival. So ask yourself, did you double-check that the part number is an exact match? When you installed it, were you careful not to touch that sensitive little wire inside? And maybe the most important one, did you push the electrical connector on until you heard and felt it click into place? Because a loose connection is no connection at all.
All right, so you've cleared the code and you're pretty sure the part is good and installed correctly. The very next place our investigation needs to go is the electrical system, because to your car's computer, a bad sensor and a bad wire look like the exact same problem.
And this is a really key concept to get your head around. The computer isn't smart enough to know why the signal is bad. It just knows it's getting garbage data. So a broken wire gives it the same garbage data as a broken sensor. That's why checking the wiring isn't just a suggestion. It is an absolutely essential step. So what are we actually looking for? Get in there and follow the wires coming off the MAF sensor. Do you see any spots where the insulation is frayed or cracked? Any telltale signs of a mouse having a little snack? Pull the connector off and look at the metal pins inside. Are they shiny or are they covered in that gross greenish corrosion? And hey, while you're at it, find the fuse box. A simple blown fuse for that circuit could be your entire problem right there. Now, if a good lookover doesn't show anything obvious, it's time to get a little more technical with a multimeter. Your car's computer sends a specific voltage to the sensor to power it up. Just turn your key to the on position and test the pins on the connector. You should be seeing either 5 volts or 12 volts. If you're seeing 0, well, this sensor isn't getting any power. You just found your problem. Just make sure to check your service manual to see exactly which voltage your car is supposed to have.
Okay, so the part is good, the wiring is good, the fuse is good. Now what? Well, now we need to think bigger. The problem might not be electrical at all. It could be mechanical. It's totally possible your new sensor is working perfectly, but it's being lied to by an air leak.
If your scan tool is showing you codes like P0171 or P0174, listen up, because that is a massive clue. Those System 2 lean codes basically mean your engine is getting more air than the MAF sensor is telling the computer about. And where does that extra unmetered air come from? Yep, almost always a vacuum leak.
So how in the world do you find a leak you can't see? Well, you've got two main options. The classic DIY method is to get a can of brake cleaner and, with the engine running, carefully spray it around the intake manifold and vacuum hoses. If the engine's idle suddenly revs up or stumbles, that's because it just sucked the flammable spray through the leak. The more professional way is to use a smoke machine. It pumps harmless smoke into the whole system, and you just watch to see where it pours out. It's pretty hard to miss.
And here's the really important part. The leak has to be somewhere after the mass airflow sensor in the air's path to the engine. Any air that gets in after the sensor is air the computer doesn't know about. So check that big rubber intake boot for cracks. Check all the hose clamps. Look at all those little vacuum lines. You know, a great place to start looking is the PCV hose. Those things get old and brittle and are a super common source for these kinds of sneaky leaks. Okay, what if you've done everything? You've checked the part, the wiring, you've hunted for leaks and found nothing. Now we need to consider another possibility. Maybe the MAF sensor code isn't the real problem. Maybe it's just a symptom of something else going wrong. Here's a perfect example. Let's say you're getting a MAF code and a P0420 code for your catalytic converter. Guess what? Your real problem is almost certainly the catalytic converter. Think of it like a clogged drain pipe. When the exhaust can't get out, it creates back pressure that messes up the airflow through the entire engine. That screws with the MAF sensor's readings and makes it throw a code,
even though the sensor itself is perfectly fine.
And on that same note, there are a couple of other simple things to check. Is your air filter completely clogged with dirt? Because that'll choke off airflow and can definitely cause problems. Also, take a look at your throttle body. If it's caked with gunk, it can mess with the airflow, especially at idle, and potentially trigger other codes.
So you've been through it all. You cleared the codes, you checked the wiring, you hunted for leaks, you ruled out any other conflicting codes. You're at the end of the road. What could possibly be left? Well, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning.
This is the one that really stinks, but it's a real possibility. Your brand new, fresh out of the box part could just be a dud. It's not common, but believe me, it happens. If you have been methodical and checked absolutely everything else on this list, it might be time to take that new sensor back, warranty it, and try another one. Following these steps will help you track down and solve the vast majority of these problems on your own, but it also does something else just as important. It helps you know when you're in over your head. If you go through this entire diagnostic tree, you check everything, and you're still lost, that is the absolute perfect time to call a pro. Because now you can tell them exactly what you've already checked and ruled out, which is going to save them a ton of time and save you a ton of money. You've done the groundwork. Now you can hand it off with confidence.